It's Tax Tuesday, everybody. Welcome. Kamari Ellis. I am an enrolled agent, and I am going to be answering questions every Tuesday, starting with this week about taxes, tax preparers, tax deductions, things that everybody should be thinking about when it's time to do their taxes. And I will also be answering your questions live as well. So if you have any tax questions, feel free, throw them in the chat, and I'll get at them. But what you got to do is you got to put your name in the chat, let me know where you're hailing from, and I will answer your question. Make sure to put a Q in front of your question, and I will get to it towards the end of tonight's segment. These are going to be short and sweet and to the point. All right. So tonight I want to talk about 5 things everybody should ask their tax preparer or what they should know. All right. 5 things. Because a lot of times I find people get their taxes done by people that do their taxes in the back of a gas station. Have no idea who they are. Have no idea what their background is. Have no idea how long they've been doing this. And this will give y'all a little bit of clues of some of the things that I'll be talking to y'all tonight about. But again, it's tax season. Tax season usually lasts about 75-ish days. Now, I have been in this arena of taxes for over 35 years. I think it's 36 years. So I've seen a lot. I don't know everything, but I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. And every year, I am never not amazed. I am never not amazed. All right. So, like I said, 5 things that everybody should be thinking about, should know about their tax professional. All right. Number 1 is, what are their qualifications? What are their qualifications to be a tax professional? By the way, I'm using the word tax professional and not tax preparer because there is a difference. There is a huge, big, ginormous difference. I would consider a tax professional as someone who takes the craft seriously of tax and taxation. They're studying, they're reading, they understand the concepts of tax. They understand the concepts of tax preparation. They're not necessarily just filling out a computer screen and just being a glorified data entry person. All right, now I'm gonna give y'all a clue. I've been in the tax industry since the 80s. I started out doing taxes by hand, ladies and gentlemen. So again, and I don't say that to brag. I say that to say you should understand everything that goes into the tax worksheet. You should understand what goes into the tax form. You should understand what the calculations are. You should understand where everything goes and why it does it this way. All right. And do me a favor, if you're liking what you're seeing here, make sure you like, comment, and share this anywhere you can find it, because I'm sure there are people who need this information that don't necessarily have it. All right. So make sure you let them know that. So, all right, again, qualifications. What makes a person qualified? Do they take this thing seriously? Or do they just gather people's documents, put them into a computer, right? Some kind of computer, and then they just do it. Now, I want you to be careful about people who use other people's stuff on TurboTax. Now, I'll get back to that in a minute, but I want you to keep that in your mind. All right. So, again, what are the qualifications? Like, for example, me, like I told you, I've been doing this for over 35 years. Started out with my dad. I'm a graduate from Temple University. I majored in finance. Now, everybody doesn't necessarily have to go to college or major in accounting or finance or economics to be a great tax professional. All right. But it shows the level that a person is committed to their craft. And again, there's all kinds. All right. So don't use that as the final thing. These are just some of the things you need to be thinking about. Okay. All right. Number two. Does a person have a P10? What is a P10? You're like, what in the world is a P10? PTIN, P-E-T-I-N, PTIN, Professional Tax Identification Number. Again, Professional Tax Identification Number. Every paid tax professional should have a PTIN. What does a PTIN do? A PTIN identifies to the IRS that, hey, this person is charging for taxes. This person is charging for taxes. Now, remember I said about the TurboTax thing just a few minutes ago? There are some people called ghost preparers. Ghost preparers. These are people that will fill out your tax return, won't sign their name, and they'll file it. Well, that's actually illegal, and they get paid. All right, so they will prepare the return. They won't sign it. You will pay them, and they'll file it. Usually on a system like TurboTax or something like that. That's illegal, folks. That's not what you're supposed to have happen. So keep that in mind. Again, you do not want to do that. You don't want to be a part of any of that. Oftentimes, people will charge based on your refund. Illegal. That's illegal as well. All right. So you want to make sure that you're not dealing with anybody that is charging you based on the level or the amount of the tax refund that you get. Okay. That's really crucial, y'all. That's really crucial. So keep that in mind. Okay. There's a lot. If you just Google any big box shop, I don't want to say their name because I don't want to give them any advertisement. All right. But Google their name, put it in, ... lawsuit. See what some of their lawsuits are for. It will open your eyes to what's really going on out here in these tax streets. It's crazy. Totally crazy. All right. So keep that in mind. All right. You want to make sure, one, what are the person's qualifications? Two, do they have a PTIN? All right. Number three, how long have they been a tax pro? Now remember, I'm not saying tax preparer. I am saying tax professional. There is a difference. Y'all probably won't know this, but accountants can be a little bit snobby at times. Justifiably so. Justifiably so. So they can tell whether you take this serious or if you just have it for a quick buck. All right. And they look at you differently. They look at you very much differently. So make sure you understand what they're doing. Okay. How long they've been a tax pro. Now, they could be a tax pro 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year. The question is, tax preparation is based on how complex your situations are. Your average person, let's say you work a 9-to-5 job, you might have a little bit of money in the bank, so you're getting some interest, right? You're getting some interest. You might have a simple return. Maybe. There's a lot of people that work 9-to-5 jobs that have very complex returns. All right. So, but just because they've only been doing this for a couple or 2, 3 years doesn't mean that they haven't been great students of the game. There's a lot of people I know that study hard, do continuing education a lot, and have become really, really diligent about being masters or masterful about their craft. And so those people, I believe it's okay to work with. And again, this is all how I see it, my opinion, but take that with a grain of salt, but you will. All right. So again, how long have they been a tax professional? All right. And another question. Do they do this part-time? Is it a hustle for them, or do they do it full-time? That tells you a lot. Now, again, if you have a simple return, you may be okay with working with a part-time person or that just kind of does it as a hustle. There's a different level of seriousness with people that do this full time. There's a different level of people, there's a different level of seriousness to people that really study this, that really seek to understand it and implement it. Nobody knows everything. I don't know everything. Right. Me and some of my tax friends get together and we talk about different stuff all the time and we run different scenarios. However, however, there's a difference between somebody who never studies, that never doesn't really care. They're just trying to be a glorified data entry technician versus a real tax professional. There's a difference. There's a difference. Now, listen, everybody, I promise y'all I will answer questions. So if you have any tax questions, go ahead and throw them in the comments. Make sure you put a Q in front of them. All right. A Q in front of them and we will get at it. Yes, indeed. Okay. All right. So again, I told you I ran through 5 already. That was really, really quick. What are the qualifications? Right. I'm an enrolled agent. Are they a CPA? Are they a tax attorney? Are they what's called an unenrolled tax preparer? Understand what the difference are. Here's a quick tip for everybody, y'all. And I've done videos on this. CPAs are not the only people that do taxes. And this is no shot at CPAs. All right. But you have CPAs, you have enrolled agents or EAs like myself, you have some tax attorneys, and then you have people that just do taxes, that are just accountants. Some of them think of themselves as accountants. Not all of them think of themselves as accountants. So keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in mind, y'all. All right. Do they have a P10? Meaning, do they register with the IRS? Let the IRS know that they're filing taxes for a fee. They're getting paid to file taxes. All right. So that's 3. I just repeated them, right? Qualifications, 2. Qualifications, P10. How long have they been a tax pro? And are they year round or are they part-time? Oh, I didn't mention that, right? So are they just for the season? Do they just do taxes during the season? Or do they do taxes year round? Sorry, that was one I left out. So that is questions that everybody should be asking when it comes time to pay somebody to do their tax returns. You don't just want to pick any Tom, Dick, and Harry. I know that's cliche, but it's real. It's real. So make sure you want to know, do they do taxes all year round? Because there are some tax shops and tax preparers. By the way, there are no tax professionals that do taxes seasonal. So I'm just leave it there. But you want to know that they work during tax season, which is about 75 days, usually the very end of January to about April 15th-ish, maybe May, sometimes June if you have some extensions. But you want to know what they doing, what their life like. Will they be around in October? Will they be around in November? Will they be around in December? Because sometimes, especially in some of these big box shops, it's just a job for some of these people. It's not really a career or a business. So they might just do your taxes once and they won't be here again next year. You want to have a relationship with your tax professional. Okay. And again, are they full-time or part-time? So there are some people who just kind of do this as a side hustle. They're just learning. They might be being mentored by somebody and they just come in and do it. And that is fine too. But you should know so you can make an educated decision. You don't want to just make a haphazard decision based on what your homegirl, sister, cousin who got a big refund to pick a person. By the way, the size of a person's refund should not be a determination on how you pick your tax preparer. I call those ghetto tax preps people. Listen, your tax refund does not tell you if your return was done correctly, if it was done ethically, and if it was done legally. All of those things matter, y'all. So if their person is pushing refunds, I need you to run real quick. All right. So that's all I got. Top five things. What are the qualifications? Do they have a P10? Are they part-time? Excuse me, I got out of order. Let me go back. What are their qualifications? What are their P10? Do they have a P10? They should have a P10. You should not be working with anybody who does not have a P10. How long have they been a tax professional? I keep saying professional. I'm trying to beat that into y'all. Tax professional, not a tax preparer. But there is a difference. All right. Are they seasonal or are they all year round? All right. And are they part-time or are they full-time? Okay. So I saw there's some questions out here and I see there's some jokes from some of my friends that tune in often. All right. So I'm gonna get at y'all. Now, before y'all do that, y'all know I am in the running. All right. So make sure y'all follow the Finance Rebel on YouTube. If y'all get value from this, if y'all appreciate this content, make sure y'all give a follow. Also, share it with somebody too. All right. Now, I think I'm going to make Tax Tuesday a thing. Let me know. Put it in the comments what y'all think I should do. Should I make this an ongoing podcast? I was thinking about making it its own separate YouTube. Because there I would just answer tax questions. What do y'all think? Go ahead and do that in the chat for me. Help me out, y'all. So let's see. Let's see here. All righty. All right. Miss Edith is in the building. Hey, lady. How are you? How are you? Liked and shared. Miss Edith, I also remember I owe you a Rebel Nation shirt. I'm going to get that design. We're going to get that out and I'm going to get you one. You're going to be one of the first on the list. Still Rocks 33. How are you? Miss Edith is tagging folks. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Whoa, my man JT Coins come through with the coins. Literally, no pun intended. $1.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. Yes, keep the hot content coming. Yes, sir. That's the plan. Yep, 7K to 10K. The goal is to get to 10K, right? Remember, that was last year's goal. I didn't hit last year's goal, but guess what? I don't really feel any way about it. Because what I realized, I was running heavy after that goal. And this is why it's so important not to be the goal, but be the habits behind the goal. Is that while I didn't hit 10,000, I doubled my base last year. Followers that I'm talking about on YouTube. I doubled it. So I can either be mad that I didn't get to 10K or I can celebrate it doubling my people. So we got more rebels in the nation. So again, thank you for that $1.99 chat, sir. And we still on the hunt though. We still on the hunt. We still gonna get that 10K or more. All right. So good. Thank you, Miss Edith. Thank you. All right, here we go. My man Jay Jackson. Can you give me 27K back or not, champ? No. Hell no. You know why? Because, listen, I actually have some clients who are worthy of getting 27K and have gotten 27K, but normally it is bullshit. Bullshit. That's what it is, y'all. That's what it is. So I try not to touch those unless it's real, unless it's substantiated, like meaning I can claim or I can touch or see why somebody actually deserves a $27,000, 27 clams or refund. Now, most people, right, when you're getting a tax refund usually is a refund of the money that you paid into the tax system throughout the year. Now, there are some exceptions. There are some credits, like the income tax child credit, that's not necessarily money you pay into the system, but you have to qualify for it. Everybody doesn't qualify for that. And you tend to have to be at a lower income bracket. Why would you get a $27,000 return and you only made $27,000? Gotta ask yourself that question. JC, thank you, sir. Oops. Let me switch. Gotta get on. Thank you. I'm glad it's good information. Be sure to share it. Alrighty. Now let's see who's else is on the list. Who's else is on the list? Oh, did I say that, Miss Edith? I gotta watch my mouth. All right. IW, thanks for joining. Kamari will answer your tax. Yes, I will answer your tax questions. Feel free. I am here to be a resource to you and the community overall, because a lot of times there's a lot of trash out here. We're also going to review some videos. So listen, anybody that has some tax advice that they're seeing floating on these social media streets, feel free to send me an email at taxtuesdaypodcast@gmail.com. Again, the taxtuesdaypodcast@gmail.com. And I'll review it. I'll try to review as many as I possibly can get to. All right, so here's the question. Kamari, if you didn't file last year taxes and want to file for 2023, do you have to file 2022? I think the answer is yes. Please advise. This is a question my son's friend has things. So it depends. Sorry. All right, it depends. So every year, everybody does not necessarily have what's called a filing requirement. If you don't make enough money, like a lot of times you may not make, and you said your son, so I believe your son's a teenager, I'm not sure. But if a person didn't make a whole lot of money, they may not necessarily have a filing requirement. And so sometimes you might skip years. However, if you made more than the filing requirement, and the filing requirement gets a little tricky, right? Because typically it's if you make more than what the standard deduction is, and that's typically going to be dependent upon if you're filing single, if you're filing married, filing jointly, married filing separately, head of household, or this new one is called qualifying widower or qualifying spouse. There's a new one. It's basically widower. It depends. All of them have different levels. If you have not exceeded the amount of money, you have not earned income, or I shouldn't even say income because that's tricky too. Because income and making money sometimes gets a little different. But for this conversation, if you haven't generated enough money to exceed those levels per those standard deductions, you may not have a filing requirement. Now, here's where it gets tricky. If you are a business owner, real estate investor, and you made these the levels either $600 or $400, then you need to file. It gets weird like that sometimes, y'all. It gets weird like that sometimes. Sorry, ghetto tech. Yeah, I didn't mean to say that, y'all. I didn't. Just was talking on top of my head. That's not nice. That ain't nice, y'all. But yeah, I'll leave that alone. Run. Yes, please run from the people who do not qualify on that list. All right, qualifications. P10. Yes, P10, P-T-I-N, P10, P-T-I-N, not P10. How long a tax professional? Seasonal, year-round, full-time, part-time. Does your tax professional fit the criteria? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Jazz is in the building. Good evening to you, ma'am. What options you running up this week? Yes, we're going to do a Rebel Nation t-shirt or hoodie or sweatshirt. What you want? I'm looking at the comments and laughing in advance, y'all. I'm going to just say Jay Jackson is a whole clown, but that's my guy right there. All right, Dr. Chad says I'm loving the soundboard. All right. Remember, this is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Everything that I'm saying, you should always go check out with your tax professionals. Hopefully you have a tax professional though. And if you don't have one, now you know how to vet one. All right. So Jay Jackson says, my sister's cousin, Terry baby daddy, said he could get me that back. Let me see if I can read that fast. Can you say that 3 times quick? My sister's cousin, Terry baby daddy, said he could get me that back. All right, that's one. I don't think I got 3 of me though. All right. Well, God bless him. Hope he doesn't get locked up anytime soon. Listen, it gets real out here, y'all. It gets real out here. Yes, if you have any questions, if y'all want to submit anything for me to review, send it to taxtuesdaypodcast@gmail.com. Taxtuesdaypodcast@gmail.com. Shelby Martin, my Ogons Avenue brother who I grew up with. Thank you, sir. Shelby got some things going on. I'm trying to get Shelby to help me with a side hustle academy. He said he don't want to do it though. He don't want to be on camera. Shelby gets busy a lot. He don't even realize it. All right, yes, Tax, please, from New York. All right, I got you. What questions do you have? All right, you definitely want to buy a shirt. All right. Well, Jay, I'm going to give you a shirt, but I got others because I've been thinking about doing a line, a Black Rebel line soon, real soon. I'll send you the link. The link's not ready yet. I'll have it ready for next week. Matter of fact, I have the link ready tomorrow. Real quick. All right, so does anybody have any other questions, any tax questions for tonight? And again, thank you to JT Coins for the $1.99 super chat. I'm always appreciative. By the way, speaking of super chats, I was supposed to do this. Miss Edith always tells me to do this, and I always forget because I just want to get the information to y'all. But Miss Edith sent me a Cash App without me even asking for it the other day. $25 Cash App. I appreciate you, sis. Thank you. All right. But she said to me, and I saw it afterwards on Saturday when I did the broadcast. She said, Kamari, put up your Cash App every time you do a broadcast because you do a masterclass. Now, I didn't say that. She said that. She said, I do a masterclass. Well, God damn it, give it up for Miss Edith. So, and there is the Cash App right there is $ the Finance Rebel. I guess I need to do one for, I should do one for Podcast Tuesday. Keep it brand centric. That's what my branding and marketing people might tell me. So I appreciate you back. More than you know. Any good books we need to check out this year? Listen, there's always good books. I got books on the phone. I got books on the shelf. I got books galore. But check back tomorrow. I'll talk about some books. I'll be honest, I haven't been reading a whole bunch of financial books lately. I mean, my whole life has been dedicated to tax, finance, stocks, and business. So there's not a whole lot I want to really think about in terms of tax or business or stocks. Unless it's interesting. Like, I mean, I got books galore I could recommend. All right, we got questions. All right. Again, anybody have questions, do me a favor, put a Q in front of the question so I can make sure not to miss it and throw them in the chat, y'all. Throw them in the chat. All right. So CB says, if you are married but filed separately, are you responsible for your spouse's child support or debt owed to the IRS? So the way you worded that question, I'm going to cover it from both angles. So you said filed separately. Because I know some people, let me back up. Listen, when you are married, you are supposed to file. You have 2 options and 3 sometimes if you're on the outs with your spouse. But mainly you have 2 options. Your options are married filing jointly, where you combine everything together. You put the money, the spouse's money together. I was going to say his money and her money, but these days it could be her money or his money, monies together both ways. And that's when you're filing jointly. You could also file married filing separately, where you're still acknowledging that you are married, but you are saying, I do not want to combine my taxable income together with my spouse. I want it separately. So when you file that, when you file it separately, child support, I don't know, because a lot of times that's a judge's determination. They'll ask what money is coming into the overall household. You would have to have a conversation with a family attorney. And by the way, I'm supposed to do an interview with a family attorney. I need to circle back around and do that. All right. But debt owed to the IRS. So when you are married filing separately, your tax debt for that year, because we don't know what the person did other years, for that year is not together. All right. It's not together. It's not bunched together. It's separate. It's separate. So keep that in mind. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if that helps you out, C Brown. Alrighty. All right. So Jay says I just read Lucky Me by Rich Paul. Rich Paul is lucky. I don't know if I'll call him lucky, but he had a lot of great turn of events for him, but he also did the work. So he also helped to create the luck. So that's dope. Oh, Dr. Chaz put me on the spot. You taking any trades? You taking any trades 1 a week at least? Is that the challenge? No, I haven't. I haven't taken any trades this week. I did buy some stock, some ETFs. I'm dollar cost averaging into, but that's not a trade to me. That's an investment. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. No, and I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna get back in. So Dr. Chaz has been pushing me to get back on my trading game. Listen, man, I be tired. Y'all don't. It's funny. I'm gonna find this, right. So this is a tax related thing. This is something I posted on Twitter, now called X, also known as Twitter, previously known as Twitter. So let me find this. I want to find this, and I want to say this for y'all that have great tax preparers. I want y'all to think. Excuse me. For y'all that have great tax professionals, I want y'all to think about this. All right, I can't. Let me see, y'all. Give me 1 second. Trying to get to my Twitter feed. Oh, there it is. They changed everything up. Let me share this with y'all. And I want y'all to think about this, y'all. And I'm going to tell you why I wrote this. All right, so this is my Twitter/X feed. I really don't get much love on Twitter. I don't even know why I'm sharing this. Oh, hey, that's me broadcasting on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, make sure you find me. All right, that's me talking about Operation 10K, but that's not what I was talking about. All right, here we go. I think tax accountants need some 24/7 therapy sessions available during tax season. The amount of stress and anxiety that gets thrown at us is unreal. Nobody ever really thinks about that, right? Everybody comes and tells tax people, accountants, a lot of their secrets. A lot of us are their most trusted advisors. A lot of us, we know more information than some of their spouses and girlfriends do. But I am sworn to secrecy. My daddy told me a long time ago that when dealing with people's money, especially black folk, never tell other people stuff about them. I mean, I've actually lost friendships over the way I keep secrets because they say they feel it's wrong. But I'm married to the life. I'm married to the game. What can I say? Right. But when I wrote that text, I was dealing with a client who just got Well, actually several clients, but I just had to tell a client they're going to owe some money on their tax return, and they didn't understand why, and they were really upset why they didn't, why they didn't get a refund like the previous year. But what happens is things change every year. Every year, tax laws change. Implementation of tax law is something too that a lot of people don't think about. And so this person was giving me the business, and I spent a lot of time on this return. Actually, too much time, but it is what it is, right? So when people say, I don't need a tax preparer, I need a tax strategist, you need both people, because a lot of people in these social media streets have been dogging tax professionals who are preparing returns, and they say, oh, they're just punching in numbers. No, the hell they're not. They under the tax professionals. Now the tax preparers are something different. And if you're dealing with a tax preparer, then shame on you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But the tax professionals understand the return backwards, forwards, up and down, side to side. But again, back to what I was saying, is like the stress. Like, you would think I am the enemy. I didn't get to keep your money all year long. I just computed the money, right? And so they don't want to think about, well, they got this money all year long. They didn't never think to say, well, maybe I should put some of this up, or maybe some of this is wrong, or maybe I need to double check this. Then today, and I haven't done the shit, I have to do it tomorrow. I have to call somebody and tell them they owe a lot of money. I'll just put it at that. They owe a lot of money. And so, type money that people make over multiple years. What do you think that brings in my mind? What do you think that brings in the mind of other professionals? What do you think that brings in their emotions? So listen, y'all, I say all this to say, show y'all tax preparers some love, y'all tax professionals some love. All right? Don't be on their back. They doing the best they can. And they not, if they good, they've been with you for a while. They tried, true, and tested. If the timeline gets a little messed up, it happens sometimes because they got 1,000,001 people going after them at the same time. All right, so let me go back. I see a couple people in here. All right, C. Brown said it was helpful. Great. That's the goal. That is the goal. Ah, my brother Jimmy's in the building. By the Hood. Shout out to By the Hood. Everybody go follow By the Hood on YouTube. Jimmy's in the hunt for the 10,000 too. We in it together. We gonna get it together. All right, so Lucky Me is about his childhood and also a play on his favorite Jay-Z song. I know you hate that, don't you? Shout out to Jimmy and By the Hood. Jimmy and Corey. Challenge one a week. All right, I got you. I'll do one a week, Doc. I'm set my universe now. You already helped me with that. I'll figure it out between the whole crew. All right, Lawrence is in the building. The Finance Brio. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now remember, y'all, I'm thinking, y'all, nobody has answered this question. Should I do this? Should I make this an ongoing thing? Should I make Tax Tuesday a podcast, a YouTube channel, a thing, an ongoing thing? What do y'all think? Throw it in the chat. And by the way, if I do it, it won't just be on Tuesday, but Tuesday will be the mainstay. We will be here every Tuesday. All right. Lawrence, what is your YouTube channel? And what is your, I know it's Lawrence, but where's your podcast at? All right. Ms. Edith says, speaking of stocks, can you look at the diabetic medication guts stock name? Send me that. I'll look at it tomorrow during our regularly programmed show for the Finance Rebel Show. Jerry, Big Island, Hawaii. Wait a minute. Weren't you in LA before, in California? Now you living in Hawaii? I want to come to Hawaii. Except when there are volcanoes. But I hear Hawaii is expensive, but I hear it's beautiful. Beautiful. All right, Lauren says people are always mad when they have to pay and always happy with no questions when they get refunds. God damn, he's right. I'm going to read that again. People are always mad when they have to pay and always happy with no questions when they get refunds. He ain't lying. He is not lying. And you got to ask yourself, why is that? Why is that? This potential of getting your own money back is so alluring. Like you've got this little savings account that ain't even really a savings account because most people take and blow it. You ever wonder why everything tends to go up? All the used cars go up. All the furniture goes up during tax season. Right? That's something to really, really think about, y'all. All right. I don't want to say your name. Tell me how to say your name. Is it Yazelis? If I got your name wrong, I am sorry. I hate messing people's names up because people mess my name up all my life. Matter of fact, people still mess my name up now. By the way, they'll never call me Cam. I hate when people call me Cam. All right. So question is, if married legally but living separately, can one file head of household and claim for child credit while other person files single and claim earned income tax or earned income credit? Yes, that is an exception. If you are truly living apart. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this. I've been telling y'all this. The IRS just got 80 billion, 80 Bs, right, from Congress to do what? Step up enforcement. We're already seeing that now. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. But there are people who like the scenario and they use it and they abuse it. So I just want to put this out here. If they find out that y'all did indeed live together, they will claw back that return real quick. But yes, that is an exception to that rule. That is an exception. C. Brown says, sending you prayers and love. Thank you. I need all the prayers, love, and light I can get. Thank you. Prayer works, y'all. Prayer works. Take the MDC trade. Yeah. Sometimes the MDC trades be too rich around blood, but yes. All right. We can look at that. We can look at that. So I said, okay. Whoa. Jerry with the $5. Thank you. Appreciate you. Shout out to Jerry Early for the $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. All right. Sorry, I mean MFS not single. No, I got you. Yes, that is one of the exceptions. Actually, I feel like I need to double check that. I know if you're married filing jointly and you live, you know what, let me walk that back. If you're married filing jointly, you can, if y'all didn't live together, I believe it's 6 months, the last 6 months of the year, you can file head of household. But if you're married filing separately, you're not living together, I would say, I need to double check that. Give me 1 second. Un momento. I want to say yes. I want to say yes off the top of my head. Because it's not a matter of where the person lives. Residency is an issue. Yes, married filing separately, filers can qualify for earned income credit under some circumstances. Okay, no, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So yes, you can do that. You are correct. So ignore my last part. Make a tax thing on Tuesday like a special. Make it consistent, at least for tax season until it scales up. Yeah, I was going to do that, but listen, the whole financial system is based on taxes, or the foundation is taxes. By the way, the country started over taxes. And now, ironically, we're back to the same issue with taxes. I don't know if that's going to cause an uprising or a tea party at some point, but I do find it kind of ironic that we had the Boston Tea Party because of no taxation without representation. Some people still kind of feel that way now. That's a whole other conversation, but I think there is representation. We got roads, we got schools, we got utilities, we got a lot of other things, but again, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I am thinking about that. I am thinking about making this a thing on Tuesdays. Okay. Ms. Edith says any tax information will be great. So if you believe you can create a podcast, please do so. Listen, I can create a podcast in my sleep. Technically, this broadcast right now, I can strip out the audio, make it a podcast. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes when you're doing video, because now the landscape is totally blurred, video podcasts, audio podcasts are now like the same thing these days. So you really have to be careful about how you describe it. However, if you're good enough, and there's no lag, because sometimes when you're talking about video, it doesn't always translate to audio. That's why when y'all might hear me say, I want to say this out because I'm looking at something, but the people who are listening may not get it. So I will say X, Y, Z, blah, 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 because people are listening on the audio, right? So there is an audio podcast, right, that you can find in Apple, that you can find on Stitcher, and you can find it on Spotify and on Google. All right, so make sure y'all go and give me a 5-star rating. Give me a 5-star rating, because everybody doesn't like YouTube. Everybody does not like YouTube. So again, you can find me over there. And if y'all want to see what it looks like this. All right. So you can find me, The Finance Rebel Show. Again, we're doing this. It's Tax Tuesdays, but we're doing this segment here today. But you can find me over there on Apple Podcasts. You can find me on Spotify. So y'all ain't got an excuse. If you didn't make the show or had to dip out early, you could always catch up on the replay on the YouTubes, or you could listen to the whole show or the replay on the podcast. All right, so you ain't got no excuse. None whatsoever. All right, so we got that. Yep, the thing. All right, any tax never turning down. Okay. But listen, some people don't want to hear about tax. Some people think tax is super, super boring. Now, I try to make it a little fun, but listen, I don't think anybody's going to say standard deductions are fun. They're going to say that stuff's kind of boring there, fella. I don't know. All right, Jerry says visiting family on the island, but I guess I'm still in Las Vegas. All right, good man. So Jerry's still from LA, but he on the island. So big shout outs to him for getting on there with family. Listen, y'all, family is everything. Family is everything. Miss Edith says, you have a potty mouth tonight. Actually, Miss Edith, I have a potty mouth every night. What y'all don't know, and Jimmy could verify, Lawrence could probably verify this too. I try to tone it down for y'all a little bit. I would be cussing all night long if I wasn't trying to be a good guest and be like that. Some of my family actually watches this. So some of my folks who I love, and they may be cringing, they be on here like, he just dropped another F-bomb. Yes, I did. Oh, Shelby's on here too. Shelby could definitely attest that I am I have a potty mouth. I mean, I'm the son of a sailor. What do you want me to do? By the way, hopefully my dad don't hear that because he won't like that. All right, so visiting, got that. All right. Oh, I got it. Okay. Good. All right, any other questions? Any other tax questions? So if you don't have nothing, let me know. And remember, if you have anything you want me to review, just send it for Tax Tuesdays. Anything you want me to review, go ahead and send it to Philly Tech. Wrong email. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I got too much stuff going on. Tax Tuesday Podcast at gmail.com. All right. Let's go ahead and send it out. Anything you want me to review, whether it's an article, whether it's on social media, it doesn't always have to be ratchet and janky. The ratchet and janky stuff does kind of prompt me to be a little bit more pottylicious with my mouth sometimes, though. So, but just be sure to send any request over there. Trying to keep it all together. Alrighty. I got it. Rebel Nation shirt. It's coming right up. Do you want to be the head of the Rebel Nation fan club, Miss Edith? You've earned it. And I appreciate you. All right, Dr. Chaz. One trade. I got to figure out what's popping out there. What do I feel like I can make it run at? I need to build my account up. Maybe that's something I'll talk to the rebels about. But let's see. All right, so yes, Tax Tuesday, please. Oh, I'm way all the way up. Oops. All right. So here it says, is there underreporting penalty? Yes, there is an underreporting penalty. So again, Lawrence, Finance Griot asks, is there an underreporting penalty? Meaning, if you do not report all of your income, will you get penalized for it? Yes, you will. You will get a nasty letter called a CP 2000 also. Most people don't realize this, but the IRS gets, for most people, not all, but especially for people who work W-2 jobs, they get all your income and 1099. They get all your income. And when they see there's a disparity, a mismatch, something's off, they're going to let you know that you didn't report, and it's a problem. Yes, people try to file zero on their paychecks. Every year or every other year, you see people tell them to file zero on their paychecks. I call it the exemption game. And most people usually lose the exemption game. And so I strongly discourage people from filing zero on their paychecks. It's funny. I saw somebody's paycheck who made several hundreds of thousands of dollars. Actually, I see this often, and they will file zero. And they won't pay any taxes, no federal withholdings. They might pay other taxes, but they won't pay any other federal withholdings on it. What people don't realize is that you do have the ability to claim exemption. You can file zero. What happens is the IRS will get wind of it, and then they send you what's called a lock-in letter. And actually, they're not even sending it to you, they're sending it to your employer. What happens is they will send a lock-in letter to your employer, and they will then instruct your employer to withhold the maximum amount from your paycheck for federal income tax. And ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Ain't nothing you can appeal. Ain't a letter you can write. You can't call home to mama. You can't do nothing. You're shit out of luck. Sorry, Ms. Edith. But listen, so that's why I say don't even go down that pipe. Don't go down that. Don't even mess around with it because it's a losing proposition. But again, every year people are trying to run these games. So for All right, so we got a question here. Your average logical thinker. All right. I need clarity on this. I already know it. I have an LLC for my children's book, but barely made anything, maybe less than $300 last year. Do I need to report it? I would say yes. Also, when you say an LLC for your child's book, if you filed an LLC, is it truly in your child's name or is it in your name? I'm not laughing at you. Your average logical thing. I'm looking at the comments. So that's the question. Is it yours or is it your child? Is your child under 18 or is your child over 18? I'm assuming the child is under 18. So then it's yours. Gotcha. Okay. So hold on. So Miss Edith says, I sure would like to be the Rebel Nation fan club press. Listen, I ain't big enough to have a fan club. I was only joking. You supported me and presented for me. Yes, I did. And I do that gladly any day of the week. Thank you for having me there, by the way. All right. All right. So your average logical thinker says it's for a children's book that I wrote in my name. Okay. So here's the thing. Is that your only income? Because here's the thing. What a lot of people do is they think that just because of a little bit of money, that it doesn't have a big impact. And it can. But I want to know, your average logical thinker, do you work a job? You work a 9-to-5 job, or do you have another business? You ain't got to tell me all your business. But I need to know a little bit more, just a little bit more. And while we are waiting, let's see. We need some. I don't really like that. That's okay. It's okay. Nah, I like that, but I already know that. I play that one sometimes. I actually should. All right, so that's feeding the ducks. So this is feeding the ducks, or it's ocean gin. I think I like this one better. Little metal vibe going. Wow, big times in the building. Robert Lewis is in the building. Shout out to Robert Lewis. I was on his podcast earlier today, The Home Show. It's funny, Robert. I had a call tonight with a young man, a young investor, and he asked me what tax things should he be thinking about? His young brother, 25 years old, killing the game. You know what I told him, Robert? You'll never guess. I said to him exactly what I said to you, what we talked about. I said he should be house hacking, and he already is. And I told him to do it again. And I said one of the simplest ways, but a lot of people overlook it, to build wealth is to house hack and just own the property for a couple years and then buy another one. Save your money, get tenants, have a multi-unit potentially, or either rent a room out, whichever your situation best dictates. Save up your money, buy another one, buy another multi-unit. And he was like, yeah, that is the plan. Works a job, making 6 figures, is doing good. Doing really good. All right. So your average logical thinker says, following up on the question answered, does she have a 9 to 5? She says, I also have retirement and VA disability not working. So, all right. Oh, you got the cheat code with that VA disability. You probably got here with 100%. But back to your question about the book. You wrote the book. You made $300. Here's the question though: what did it cost you to write the book? Did you run any advertisements for the book? Did you pay anybody to proof the book, to edit the book? All of those things have cost. All of those costs can go against that $300. So potentially it could become a tax savings for you. Potentially, I don't know your situation, but potentially it could work to your best advantage tax wise. All right. So I hope that helps. Let me know. All right. So Robert Lord asks, how long does someone have to live with you before you can get a tax break? Elderly mother. So is it 12 months? I want to say 12 months. I need to double check that. But I want to say 12 months. You can claim your parents as dependents. If you are taking care of your parent, guess what? They don't have to live with you either. Let's say you have let's say you have a parent, an elderly parent at a nursing home, and you still are providing the majority of care for him or her. I guess them these days too, right? But that is a legitimate dependent in most situations, or in many situations, I should say. So think about that. Yes. Mr. Lewis, I hope that helps. All right, you like this? I think this is the third option. You like this one? Now, Miss Edith says, I'm supposed to do this. I think I messed up some, y'all. Supposed to have my Cash App up. Because I got babies to feed, my daughter's in college, my son's about to go. All right. Yes, and I did FB and IG ads. I claimed all that on 2021. Okay, yes. Did you do anything else in 2023 though? So if you did something in 2023, you could also claim in 2023 as well. And if you did, because you said 2021, you didn't mention 2022. If you didn't claim anything, I don't know if there is or is not any activity, but if there was activity and you did not claim everything, you might have the availability to file what's called an amended tax return. An amended tax return. All right. But listen, y'all, I do tax for over 35 years, right? So I'm just here to help. If anybody needs any help with their taxes, feel free to reach out to me. You can always find me over at the Philly Tax Team. You can always find me again at the phillytaxteam.com. phillytaxteam.com. And you got a couple options. You can get a free call if you want to work with me, like become a paying client, or you can always book a consult. I thought I had this before, but maybe I didn't. So I can't wait for me and Robert's show to come out. I got to share that with y'all. By the way, everybody go to Lend to USA, Robert's YouTube channel. Matter of fact, Robert, throw that in the chat before I get out of here. All right, Ms. Ito says, that's right. Everyone on social media posts their Cash App. They do. I always wonder, are people really giving though? And I hope if they are getting money, they're declaring it on their taxes because it is taxable. Can I speak to the child tax credit wasn't increased? Not yet. It's still in Congress. Everybody's being counted about it. Listen to y'all, I'm a little weird. Everybody on social likes to talk about stuff if it's happening. I guess to make everybody aware. I mean, there is value in that. I don't like talking about stuff that's potentially happening on social because a lot of times it doesn't happen. And then my son says, I don't like to repeat myself, my oldest son. I don't. So then it's like, what was the point of me talking about it? It's not going through. I just wasted everybody's time talking about this thing. But y'all tell me, what do y'all feel about that? Do y'all want me to talk about potential tax things that are coming down the pike? Not to talk about them? I mean, what do y'all feel? I mean, I'm a little bit older, so I'm not like your typical YouTuber, social media person. Like, I've been around the block a couple of times. I've been here, I've been around, you know. But it's like, all right, what do I tell y'all this for? But I'll pull it up. It got passed, going back to the the child tax credit. Let me get some water. Going back to the child tax credit, right? It's passed in the House. All right, so we got to have a little bit of a civics lesson because I'm learning that a lot of y'all don't like politics, nor do y'all follow it. So it's passed in the House. And it's not only the child tax credit, it's got a lot of other, what they call pork inside the bill. And so they've been debating it in the Senate. And then if it passes in the Senate, it goes on to the president to be signed. All right. So Ms. Edith says, continue to talk about facts. Listen, there's this one guy, he's an accountant, right? All he does, and listen, this is no diss to him. He's no better than anybody else. He blew his channel up to over 1 million subs just talking about the PPP updates. And there wasn't that many, but that's really going to impact us, right? So I don't know, y'all. Am I weird? Is that the wrong way to think about it? Okay, so I'm going to show you an article. Now, I don't think I don't subscribe to this one channel. All right, so child tax credit expansion. Who gets the money if passed? So like if, like, yeah, I'm gonna talk about this. If, again, if y'all want to look, listen, I'm willing to have a conversation. All right, so if you look at the 3 bullets, right? House passed the expansion of child tax credit. The House, I just said that. Changes would impact low-income Americans the most, right? Because low-income Americans would benefit from getting more money. Child tax credit makes sense. Upper income people are not going to benefit from this because they make too much money. All right, legislation faces hurdles in the Senate. I just said that. I probably said it in 30 seconds. Now, I know a lot of people will draw out explanations to get more time. More time gets more ads. But I don't like wasting my time. I don't want to waste your time. But y'all tell me, is that something you would really be interested in? Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. All right, your average logical thinker says, did I tell you before I really love that name? It was being advised to wait to file just in case it increased. So I talked about that. It does not make sense to file. It's actually idiotic to wait to file. But guess what? The commissioner of the IRS agreed with me. I talked about that. I've done videos on that. So the reason why you don't want to wait to file is, one, you don't know if they're going to do it. You don't know. 2, if they do if they do pass the bill at the Senate and the President Biden says, yes, he's going to sign it, like a lot of other things he's done to help poor people, like student loans, but that's another conversation. The IRS is still going to give everybody who's due that money back retroactively. So you won't lose. You won't lose. All right, continue to talk about facts. Everyone else sometimes acts like Pinocchio. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You know what, Ms. Edith, I think I'm going to use it. I'm just going to say Pinocchios. Either I'm going to say Pinocchios, depending on how I feel, or I'll say this. Bullshit. Bullshit. It'll depend on how I feel, but I do like Pinocchios, right? All right, great. File tomorrow. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't delay, by the way. Listen, you already told us, you VA, your government, you know how janky they can get at times for no reason at all. And listen, that happens anytime you have big organizations. So no, I would not suggest anybody wait based on a child tax credit or anything, unless it was something, I don't know. I can't even think of a situation where I would tell somebody to wait. It's all going to be retroactive anyway. So if they're going to give it to you, they're going to give it to you. So no, don't wait, people. Don't wait. All right, let's see. What else we got? All right, we've been rocking for a minute. We got a couple of super chats. Thank you, y'all. I'm sending love and light to everybody that sent me a super chat, or that had sent me a super chat before. And sending love and light to Ms. Edith, because she didn't send me a super chat. She sent me a cash app. So thank you. So I appreciate y'all, because YouTube does take their cut. They take their cut. I think it's like 50% too, but I get it. I get the broadcast free on here. I'm not complaining. No complaints at all. Now, there was another conversation that I was having. Somebody suggested to me, Miss Edith, maybe I start a Patreon, or maybe I do a YouTube membership. And the reason I haven't done any of those membership type things is because, I mean, sure, what can I do? Does somebody want to do a group tax session membership? I'll make it fun. Does somebody want to do, I mean, because my experience is not just in tax and accounting. I've done a lot of work in investing in financial advising as well, and life insurance. So, I was wondering about that. Whoa. Thank you, your average logical thinker. Appreciate you. All right, what did you just say, Ms. Edith? If we're a fifth, we'd all be drunk. My old friends used to say it. Right. How about that? If we're a fifth, that's old school right there. But thank you again, your average logical thinker. So you are definitely not your average logical thinker. You are above average. Thank you, lady. Thank you. But what do y'all think about that? Should I think about doing a membership program? Nothing but the facts, nothing but the truth on money topics. What do y'all think? Last question of the night, and we get out of here, because I got to get my vittles. I did not eat yet. So let's see. What else? Good idea. What would you want from it? Things would be good. What do you think? What do you think would be good? What would you want to offer? Would people really divulge their information? Would you want just tax? Would you want personal finance in general? What would you want? I'm really curious. Oh, now this looks interesting. All right, hold on 1 second, y'all. I want to watch this with y'all. Personal finance, Robert. So you're saying do all the things. Robert, would you come on and talk about mortgages with me? So Mr. Lewis says personal finance. All the above. All the nuggets not easily obtained. All right, maybe I'll do something. I ain't promising yet. I got to think about it. But hold on, y'all. I want to watch this with y'all. Give me 1 second. And if so, how much would y'all be willing to pay for it? All right, so let's check this out.
I recently learned how big of a scam taxes in America are. Not the actual tax rate, but how we actually pay our taxes. All of this. In countries like the Netherlands or Japan or New Zealand,
I don't know if I would call it a scam, but
this exists. Like if you search how to pay your taxes in Estonia, you get a video that is less than 3 minutes long.
Should be all fine, so let's confirm.
But what is the population of Estonia? But okay.
Submit.
What? How does this exist? These are places where the government operates a free internet portal where the citizens can pay their taxes. Meanwhile, here in the United States, filing taxes has 2 huge problems. It's too complicated and it's too expensive. The majority of us taxpayers have to pay a private company to help us pay our taxes to the government. Collectively, we spend billions of dollars every year doing this. We spend billions of our precious spring hours tracking down documents, scanning crinkled, faded receipts, and just hoping that this little green number.
So that's nuanced. Your average person could do a tax return if they wanted to. And I know this goes against what I do in my industry, right? But I believe in the truth. Sorry. So all the information is free and it's available. I will say this though, other systems, other countries, their tax filing system is way more progressive than the United States. And there's a reason for that. It's called lobbyist. But I think I've talked about that before, but we can talk about it some more. Let's watch the rest of this. Let's see, let me get to it.
Collectively, we spend billions of dollars every year doing this. We spend billions of our precious spring hours tracking down documents, scanning crinkled, faded receipts, and just hoping that this little green number goes up.
Right now, the tax code is so complicated, so complex, it is not working for anybody.
Oh, and we also pay emotionally. We worry, we wonder if we're doing it right, and most of us have.
So remember what I said earlier about the emotional toll that tax accountants go through? Can you imagine what that industry goes through? And yes, a lot of people do stress over this. I'm not going to deny that because that's true.
Wondered what happens if we do it wrong. So why is it that a bunch of other countries have it easy, whereas we get the expensive, stressful,
Anybody want to guess?
time-eroding version of paying taxes? To understand this absurdity, I teamed up once again with the Times editorial board writer, Binya Applebaum. Okay, let's do this.
All right, this should be good.
Paying taxes in America is tense. It's scary. But the process of doing it doesn't need to be.
Binya has been reporting on economic and tax policy in America for a very long time. So let me show you how paying taxes in America has become the biggest scam you've never heard about, and how some lawmakers are trying to change it.
One of the most unpleasant facts of life. Taxes.
You may be wondering who got all this money.
Why we have a $10 billion
Oh, y'all see those big names?
a year plus business in helping people do what the government should be helping them do instead. Walk me through.
And technically, I'm a tax accountant, so all of this kind of goes against my industry and my livelihood.
The history of all the attempts to make a government run
So there was a big one in California.
portal to pay taxes.
So in the before times, it was a thick book. You picked up a copy maybe at the local library and you worked through these complicated worksheets, either with the help of an accountant or in their dining room.
Remember I told you how I started off doing taxes by hand? That's what it used to look like.
And you eventually arrived at a bottom line calculation of what you owed or what the government owed to you and put it in the mail. And then Ronald Reagan gives a public address.
We envision a system where more than half of us would not even have to fill out a return. We call it the return-free system.
In which he says, we are going to deliver to Americans an easy way to file taxes. We're going to move from this era of long forms and short forms to an era of no forms. The government is going to be the solution to your problem.
Reagan was serious about this. In 1987, 78,000 Americans filed their taxes using cutting-edge technology. These primitive modems and these old machines called like the Zilog system and the Metron. And it was a hopeful experiment in what could have saved us so much pain.
And then, his successors basically continued to make this promise for the next couple of decades. Bill Clinton makes it. George Bush goes out.
When I took my job 18 months ago, virtually every other major country in the world had the ability for citizens to go online and freely file their taxes. We didn't.
And then Barack Obama, when he's campaigning for president in 2007, he goes ahead and he makes the same promise.
We'll make it easier, quicker, and less expensive.
And everybody will continue to make the same promise.
For you to file a return so that April 15th is not a date that is approached with dread every year.
And now we have the Biden administration making that same promise once more. This story really begins during World War II, when the United States...
Now, does anybody find any of this stuff exciting? Is any of it exhilarating? I mean, just curious.
States needed a lot more money all of a sudden to conduct this war. And so it needed to change the way that it collected taxes. And the innovation that the government came up with is it said, we're going to get employers to tell us how much they are paying their workers.
So because your employer takes money out and pays taxes for you, at the end of the year, the government already knows how much money you've made. They know how much you've paid in taxes, and thus how much they owe you or you owe them.
Wait a minute. Wait a stinking minute. Didn't I just say that? I just said that tonight. All right, hold on.
Great system.
They don't know everything about your finances if you have complicated stuff like medical bills or investments. But for a lot of Americans,
Taxes could be done in 15 minutes or 20 minutes.
The reason why tax day is a breeze in places like the Netherlands or Japan is because that's the day when the government just sends you a pre-populated form. You can either approve it or you can amend it if you think you qualify for some credit or write-off, or if you think they did the math wrong. But if you approve it, you're done in just a few minutes and your refund.
Now, the difference is with these other countries, I got to ask y'all, would y'all trust, do you think the average American would trust the government to do those things? And what would happen? Put your comment in the chat. I want to hear what you have to say about this. I'm serious. So serious. Tell me what y'all think.
Is on its way. But here in the US, they don't tell us the numbers, even though they already know them, and they don't even give us a platform to file our taxes on. So taxpayers are left with two dreadful choices. They either pay a private company to do taxes for them, or they do it on their own. And here's what that looks like. A high-stakes honesty test. One that is horribly confusing, where your children are actually called dependents, and where your total income is actually determined by adding lines 1Z to.
I mean, well, the children do actually kind of depend on their parents, but okay.
B, 4B, 6B, 7, and 8. I mean, it's not that complicated. Just get a hold of this 113-page instruction booklet on how to file your
That's called the Pub 17.
taxes. So if presidents from both sides of the aisle have been making an effort to do this, why has it failed?
I mean, the one
Why? Oh, why?
word answer is
Intuit TurboTax.
Remember I said lobbyists? Don't forget the word lobbyist.
There is a company that dominates the tax preparation industry in the United States. It makes billions of dollars by charging Americans to help them complete their taxes. It makes a product called TurboTax, which for most Americans is practically synonymous with doing your tax.
And you know what other products they make or sell or promote? So they make TurboTax, they make QuickBooks, they now own Credit Karma, and they also own MailChimp. This is all off the top of my head, y'all. Sadly, I'm immersed by all this stuff.
Taxes, and it has made an industry out of something that ought to be a public service.
It's no surprise to me that TurboTax cropped up as a solution to this problem.
And so this private company comes along and says, we'll help you. We have a software product that will make your life easier. And it did. It made millions of Americans' lives easier.
Intuit TurboTax, 100% expert guaranteed.
What happens next is the story of how we almost had what they have in other countries, a free and easy way to file our taxes. And it was almost given to us by George W. Bush.
Morning.
I think the early 2000s were the moment when we came closest to having a public filing system.
So it's the early 2000s, and the government is making this big effort to put more services online.
It's a pleasure to be here to talk about the e-government initiative.
A number of other countries around the world were beginning to successfully move their tax filing systems onto the internet. States were beginning to move tax filing onto the internet. There was a huge demand for it. You had a Republican administration backing the idea.
The Bush administration tells Intuit and the other tax prep companies to, quote, get
All right, listen, don't miss this, y'all. Don't miss this piece.
another line of work. Like, you're going out of business. What is their response?
The company sounds the alarms, all hands on deck moment. They recognize this is an existential threat to what is an increasingly profitable business, and they do everything that they can to prevent it. They engage a very successful Washington lobbyist who, among other things, is fond of comparing himself to Darth Vader.
Ding, 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 lobbyist. Oh, lobbyist. They fuck America up every day. Excuse me, y'all.
And they do something very clever.
Hold on, let me go back.
Increasingly profitable business, and they do everything that they can to prevent it. They engage a very successful Washington lobbyist.
By the way, I'll probably get in trouble with YouTube for this video.
Who, among other things, is fond of comparing himself to Darth Vader. And they do something very clever. They say to the government, we'll construct a free filing portal and you can stay out of this business.
This lobbying effort worked, and the Bush administration agreed to not make a tax filing portal. And in return, Intuit and other tax prep companies agreed to create a version of their software that would be available for free to lower income.
But it wasn't really free.
Income Americans. So it's the early 2000s, and you've got regular TurboTax, which people have to pay for. But now you have this free version of TurboTax that Intuit was providing. Much to Intuit's chagrin, Americans started catching on.
I think chagrin is such a cool word, but sorry.
That there was a free version of their software, and they started using it. Millions of them started using it. And this is where the real shenanigans start in earnest. It seems like a good deal in terms of like, well, if the tech company will do this and will provide it for free, then what's the problem?
The problem is that the tech companies had absolutely no interest in doing this. This was a trick.
A ProPublica investigation found that
I love ProPublica, by the way.
Intuit and others added lines of code to their free file site
so that it doesn't appear in a Google search. And several of the other companies are also found later to have done this to make it invisible, essentially, on the internet.
Then there was their marketing. Intuit and TurboTax started appearing everywhere, from basketball stadiums to the Super Bowl.
Welcome to the Intuit TurboTax halftime.
Then they start flooding the world with the word
free.
Free.
That's right. TurboTax Free Edition is free. Free.
Woo, feels pretty good.
To most people, this looked like the government-required free file version of TurboTax. But no, Intuit had created an entirely new program confusingly called TurboTax Free Edition to divert traffic from the government option.
You arrive at this website that is billed as being a free tax filing product, and you begin to do the work of filing your taxes, right? You're up.
I know I said this before, but I want y'all to really pay attention. Pay attention to this. I haven't watched this in advance, but I know the particulars and I can tell what they're leading up to. I need y'all to watch this.
uploading forms, you're inputting personal information.
It was only after you spent all of these hours putting in all of your information that you discover that you actually can't file your taxes for free, that you don't qualify for the free version.
So, long story short, they figured out a way to use the government as a lead generation source. But
all this hiding from Google searches, the confusing branding, the deceptive use of the word free. Are you confused? That was the point.
Tax prep companies have sabotaged the free file program. They've tricked and trapped American taxpayers into paying for alternative services that should be free, that are marketed as free, but in fact, they don't make free.
I fell for this so many times over the years. And after doing all of this work, there was no way I was going to do anything but pay. What other choice did I have? All of this? Who are the demographic of Americans that are maybe most susceptible to this kind of deceptive messaging?
It's the middle of the population, people who are earning middle-class salaries, who have very simple taxes.
And the result was that by 2019, 14 million Americans that were eligible to use the free tax filing software that they had promised to make ended up paying a fee for commercial software to prepare their tax returns. All the technology.
So, this thing is insidious, y'all. So basically, what the government did was help rich people get richer, literally. And so when people talk about there's no inequality in the system, this right here shows that ain't true. But let's keep going.
Technological and marketing deception worked, so much so that they actually got sued. Regulators on behalf of customers sued Intuit last year.
By the way, Latia James is a G.
For $141 million. They also agreed to cool it on the whole free false advertising campaign. So now when you go to the site and you see the big $0 sign, there's an asterisk next to it. So justice was
always beware of asterisks. I said it wrong, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Always beware of those.
served. And the greedy tech company learned its lesson, and from then on, taxes were free and easy, just like in Estonia. In 2021, Intuit announced that they were walking away from their deal that they made with the Bush administration. They would no longer offer a free filing software to low-income Americans. But
they don't care about poor people, but okay.
But in their blog post announcing this, they claim that they're still committed to making a free filing platform.
Nobody should believe that Intuit is ever going to seriously commit.
Hold on. Why should nobody ever believe that? Does anybody yet understand why he's saying that? I mean, I'm curious. Is it just me? Is it just me? And I'm the only one who gets why. And I'll get back to that in a minute, but I gotta interject real quick. Gotta make one point. So Intuit is a publicly traded company. Right now it's trading at $635.30. That's what it closed at today. Listen now, y'all, I don't think I got enough likes and comments for this show. None of these other people would show y'all this. This isn't fun. But I want to show you this real quick. So Intuit is a Intuit stock, $635. Now, how big do you think their company is? Intuit's market cap, this is what the company's this is what the company is worth. $177 billion. Almost, let's say 178. What's a couple hundred million, right? $178 million. That's how much Intuit is worth, $178 billion on any given day. Some days it may go up, some days it may go down, right? But 178. So keep that in mind as we go back to this piece. All right.
To offering a free version of its core business. That would be suicidal for a company to do, and there's no reason to expect them to
a free filing platform.
Nobody should believe that Intuit is ever going to seriously commit to offering a free version of its core business.
Nobody.
That would be suicidal for a company to do.
And he keeps what fans there. Nobody should think Intuit is going to give their money away for free.
And there's no reason to expect them to act against their own self-interest. We should treat them like adults and assume that they're going to do what's best for them. And what is best for them is to charge as many Americans as much money as possible to complete their taxes.
It's ironic to me that Intuit often positions itself as like the advocate for the people. They had this whole ad campaign showing them all the time that they could save by not doing taxes.
We all have different, sometimes crazy things to deal with. We believe people can be good at anything. Yes, even taxes.
Now, I'm going to say this. I do believe that. I do believe anybody can become good at taxes if they want to. I think that's true. I think that's true.
Free market, you have the right to walk away. That's the defining feature of the free market. You don't need to buy the apples. You don't need to buy the car. You don't need to buy the computer. You do need to file your taxes. What these companies are doing are standing astride the highway that everybody needs to travel and collecting tolls. And so the idea that this is a private market is ludicrous. And the Bush administration was quite right.
So that's where I have issue. It's still a free market. I have tax clients that come back to me every year. Right? If you like me, you feel I'm competent enough, trustworthy enough to do your taxes, you can come find me. There are plenty of other tax professionals, not preparers, tax professionals out there in the world who make great money. So everybody doesn't have to go there. However, I will say this. They are genius marketers. Intuit and them are genius marketers. They know how to get into the hearts and minds of people and to get people to open their wallets and give their money to them. Sometimes with some assistance. It's not necessarily ethical, in my opinion, but they did it. They did it. All right.
Rightly saying to these companies, get off the highway. You are not allowed to collect tolls here.
But luckily, there might just be change in the air.
The IRS is releasing a report this week on the possibility of a free government-run tax filing service.
The Biden administration has funded a pilot program for the IRS to create a portal where we Americans can pay our taxes without the need of a third-party middleman called TurboTax. They're set to launch this as a small pilot for the 2024 tax season. But of course,
they are determined to prevent this or to make it as impractical and small scale as possible because they have lots of money to throw at it. They're collecting from all of us every year our fees for filing taxes and using them to ensure that we have to continue paying those fees to file taxes.
Bloomberg reported that Intuit's spending on lobbying has hit an all-time high. It's paying
Hey, there's that word again, lobbying. Did y'all see how much money that they are spending on lobbyists? Well, they're paying people on K Street. If you ever hear me talk about K Street, I am talking about lobbyists. So y'all should know where these people are because that's where the money resides, y'all. The money resides on K Street.
Dozens of lobbyists. These lobbyists include Mitch McConnell's speechwriter, Nancy Pelosi's ex-chief of staff, a former Republican congressman, and an advisor to Joe Biden when he was vice president.
You know, it's really striking because, the rhetoric around the IRS is so unremittingly negative that you might assume that Americans would want the protection that TurboTax says it is offering to them. But when pollsters go out and ask the American people about this, both parties say, we want a government option. We want a free filing portal. We do not understand why we need to pay in order to pay our taxes. It doesn't make any sense.
Each time Free File came up, an army of well-paid lawyers and lobbyists descends on Congress to squash it. This must not be allowed to happen again.
But the pilot program is already in danger of ending. House Republicans are pushing to cut $14 billion in funding for the IRS. including the money for the pilot program. They say that the government can't be trusted to tell Americans how much they owe the government. But this isn't a partisan issue. Leaders from both sides of the aisle have known for decades that we need to make this happen. This is the sensible thing to do. And hopefully, this is the moment to finally make it happen.
I think at the end of the day, this story is about faith in government. It's about the ability of the government to do what it should have been doing all along, to do it well, and to deliver what Americans deserve, which is an easy and free way to file their taxes. This is a chance for the government to prove itself. It's a chance for the government to make right on a promise that it has broken so often over the last 40 years and to say, we can do better, we are doing better.
So for the record, I would like to see a free option come. I think the same people who use TurboTax now, who use some of the other free software, would be good too. By the way, a lot of people forget the IRS funds free filing tax clinics. It's called VITA, 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 Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. If you make beneath a certain level, you can go get your taxes done for free. And so I do think the government should do this, but I also think the Republicans' question to this, and I do think they have ulterior motives about why, is that the government may not be able to truly handle this workload, at least not at first. Maybe over time they could do a better job at it, but I wouldn't trust them to do it. And then the penalties and interest that are going along with it is outright scary. I don't know. So if do you really think people will use this? When you use this, tell me in the comments what you would do. All right, so we're finishing this up.
Going to do this right.
So they're going to do it right. So again, do you believe that this is something viable, useful, that's going to benefit the American people? All right, so some of y'all are astonished. So as Edith says, I think people are frightened by the alphabet boys. So you pay someone to file your taxes. Yeah, but you can do them yourself too. That is your right. All right. Yes. Woo is yes. I remember when it was free for like 1 year. And when they gave free filing for active duty military, and now they charge everybody. I use free version from the IRS. Yes. So you can do that. Robert Lewis, follow the money. I agree. I agree. Everybody grease each other's palms. American business. Yep. 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 Advocate for the people is laughable, right? So, but again, I might get in trouble for this, y'all. So if this video comes down, because if the New York Times gets mad at me enough, they might cause me problems. But I thought it was good. When I saw it, I thought it was something good that people could really utilize and understand. So listen, if I do the membership, I might do more things like that behind the paywall. And it would probably be a nominal fee. I wouldn't do anything crazy. But what do y'all think? Do y'all think people will ever do this in large scale? And then what do you think will be the reaction to some of these other smaller tax companies? I know some of the tax preparers better be on the lookout, because if all they're doing is basic entry-level taxes, they are going to go out of business. So, well, listen, y'all, like I said, I got to go get my vittles. I've been on here way longer than what I expected. But I appreciate you all being here. By the way, shout out to my brother Jimmy. I just saw Jimmy send me a Cash App. Let me see. Jimmy said, Cash App, Super Chat. Man, he broke the system. All right. $5 Super Chat. Thank you, Jimmy. But he sent it to the Cash App, so I don't have to pay the fees of YouTube. So listen, I'm all about breaking the system. I'm all about rebelling. But do it right, y'all. Do smart about it. All right. So yes, thank you for joining me for the discussion tonight. And maybe with the paywall, we could do more intimate group one-on-one sessions where I could actually talk with you all. So I don't know. I might do that, y'all. I might do that. But again, I appreciate everybody. Thank you all for watching the first installment of Tax Tuesday, the Tax Tuesday podcast. So help me make this dream come true, y'all. I will see y'all soon. Y'all have a great night.